how did you get here, Terry, to this point of being able to do YouTube full time, all that other good stuff? It's a question that I get asked, to be honest, all the time. So I want to make this video. It's a beautiful day out here. I just wanted to come sit by the water, and I want to make this video because I feel like there's a lot of people that are thinking about embarking on this journey as like a full-time content creator, and you need to know the whole story. You need to know like everything that got me up to this point. And what I hope is that this video will provide some valuable insight, maybe some motivation to some people out there. I don't want to paint this picture like I'm just out here balling and everything. Like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I get to live a comfortable life doing YouTube. Sometimes I feel like it's not fair or that I'm not deserving, but we'll cross that bridge when it comes. But I do have everything that I need, and I'm very, very thankful for that. And I've also been in a lot of situations where I didn't even have enough to eat for the night. You know what I'm saying? So the reason I'm saying that is because a lot of times people look on social media, you know, they see people that are full time, they see this, that, and the third, and think it was just like some overnight success when it freaking wasn't. So let me first say two things before I get into the story. The way I got to where I am now, meaning being able to do YouTube as a career and making enough money to live off of it and more, is two things. Number one, determination, which I'm gonna cover that in a second. Number two, connections, and I'm gonna cover that in a second also. But I wanna take you all the way back to when I first got on YouTube, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. So, and I'm sorry if I get all sweaty, it's mad freaking hot out here. So listen, when I first got started on YouTube, it was for fitness, okay? I used to be into bodybuilding, or at least trying to do bodybuilding and all of that stuff, right? And I know some of y'all look at me like, oh man, T is in such great shape and you got a great physique and all this other stuff. And while I do take pride in, you know, working out and staying healthy, let me tell you this: when you are doing bodybuilding or anything else fitness-wise, competitively, yes, maybe amongst my peers, I might look like a superhero and I might be super strong compared to them. But when you stand in the same room of people who are on steroids and all these other drugs, like this physique that everybody says I have that's so great, like you can't hold a candle next to these people who use steroids, okay? And being in that industry for a while, I was around a lot of people, like a lot of big name people in the fitness industry. And one thing that I noticed was no matter how hard I worked, no matter what I did, I just couldn't stand out, right? Now, I don't want to make an excuse here because it could have just been the fact of Terry wasn't good enough or Terry didn't know how to stand out. So I don't want to, you know, just chalk it up to the game and say, oh man, you know, Terry, because you wouldn't take steroids, there was no way you could have been successful at fitness. I'm sure there's tons of people that did it, right? I just couldn't figure it out. And maybe again, it was just I wasn't good enough, or my execution wasn't good enough. But I felt like because I wasn't willing to do drugs, that I didn't have the same advantages that other people I was around had. And no shade to them, I could care less. You know, everybody is entitled to do whatever they want to do, you know what I'm saying? So I remember working at Chase, okay, around this 7-year mark, and I was in the mortgage business, right? I was making good money there. And I had to climb my way up through the ranks to get there. I have no college degree. I have very little college experience. So that means going from job to job, to experience from experience, to try to get my way up the corporate ladder. And I remember sitting at Chase, and I was so like annoyed and pissed off. Like, why am I working this job, right? So I remember I had a Sony A77, and I was doing like freelance photography and filmmaking, and I started a business, right? That business completely failed. I mean, I lost everything because of that business, and I won't blame it on the business. I blame it because I didn't know what I was doing. And I was riding the high of when all the money was coming in with no preparation or understanding of how to survive when the money stopped, right? So I lost everything, got evicted, you know, all of this stuff, man. But back to the story. I had a Sony A77 because I was doing freelance work. And I remember buying the Galaxy Note 7. This might tell you how old I am, right? I'm about to be 39 in 2 weeks. 30 freaking 9. I can't believe that. But anyways, so I went home that day and I was like, you know what? I got this new phone. I got a camera. I'm about to make a freaking tech review, right? And when I say I made this review, it was literally just me sitting in front of the camera, mouthing off, swearing, cussing, all of that other stuff. I did not know how to make a tech video. I just know I had a new camera. I had a new phone. Well, not a new camera, but I know I had a new phone and I was trying something different. Now, I uploaded this video to YouTube, this first video. Now, mind you, I had other videos from fitness all over my YouTube channel. None of them get no views, nothing like that, right? The first time I uploaded a tech video to YouTube, it hit 50,000 views in like 2 days, right? And I'm like, well, okay, maybe it was just a fluke. And then I remember being at work later that week, or maybe it was the next week after that. And then I got an email from Samsung. And the email said, hey, Terry, we found your channel, love this video. We want to license this 13 seconds of footage from this video and we'll pay you $5,000. And I'm like, what? Like, no way this is real. So, you know, I'm at this point, damn the job. I'm sitting there trying to see if this $5,000 was real from this freaking stupid video that I made on this cell phone where I'm yelling, cussing, no taste, you know, like just enjoying it, just doing something that at the time was very interesting to me, tech reviews and all that other stuff, right? So I do my due diligence and find out that this is a real opportunity. Samsung paid me $5,000 to license 13 seconds where all I said was, this phone is sexy, okay? Now, in the fitness industry on YouTube, I was making all of these videos, Instagram posts and stories every day, trying to get my name out there, doing online fitness coaching, all that stuff. Didn't make really no money, right? So the fact that I was able to make $5,000 off of a stupid tech video was crazy to me. I'm like, that was a fluke. It won't happen again. But I said, you know what, let me try it. So I did another video and I dropped that video, same thing. I was in the, you know, just talking and being reckless with my mouth and all this other stuff. And guess what? Samsung came back again and was like, yo, we want to license this part of the video. We'll pay you another $5,000. And this is stuff that's happening while I'm sitting at work. Now, I want to paint this whole picture to you. And the whole time that I was doing fitness, I maybe made $5,000, maybe. Okay, within a 2-month span, sitting at my job, working, making dumb tech videos, I made $10,000. And for me, that was the moment where I was like, am I doing the right thing? Because fitness ain't making me no money. I made $10,000 within 2.5 months or something like that, making tech videos. Okay, and that was when I decided to leave out of the fitness industry or trying to make a name for I won't even say I was in the fitness industry. That's when I decided to let it go. Now, this showed me how much money that you can make online, right? And I didn't know how to sustain it. I didn't know if it was sustainable. But what I did know is that I made more money off of these 2 freaking videos than I made in 2 months at my job for probably 1/10 of the work, okay? So I decided that I was going to start going at it full throttle. And at first I started with tech. I was doing cell phones and all that stuff. And, you know, although the viewership was there, I just didn't feel like I was connected to it. And it wasn't something that I enjoyed any longer. So I was like, man, what can I do on YouTube that would bring me fulfillment? You know what I'm saying? And also, you know, maybe that I could make some money off of. And I'm like, well, what's one thing I never got bored or tired of? Helping people, motivating people, and cameras. So I switched over to cameras, which again, you got to think this is the 1, 2, 3rd generation of Terry's channel, right? I switched over to cameras and it was very daunting for me because, you know, at the time I'm looking around the camera space. I don't see nobody like me. I don't see nobody that talk like me or express themselves like me. You know, I didn't see any other black creators in the camera space. So imagine how that felt to me. I'm thinking to myself, like, is this something I could do? Obviously, all the doubts set in, like, bro, you ain't built for this. You can't do this. Ain't nobody else doing it. You know, nobody's gonna like you. You loud. You got these tattoos. You know, you buff. Like, none of this stuff is gonna work for you. But I said, you know what? I'm gonna do it anyway. So, you know, I started leaning into camera videos, just kind of getting by, reviewing cheap stuff on Amazon, not seeing any fruit of the labor at the moment, at that moment. And it was kind of like striking because I made so much money so fast doing tech. But when I got the cameras, like all it was like brands reaching out like, yo, we loved your video, you want to do a product exchange or whatever. And at that time I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. I can't believe I'm getting free camera products, working with all the companies I love. And that was before I learned everything I learned about, the way the YouTube game works. But anyways, I remember sitting at work again, because I was still working at this time, and I was still working. I was, my kids was in sports and all of this stuff. I'm trying to be a good husband at the time, and like trying to balance my photography business and YouTube, doing all these things, still trying to personal train online and still trying to keep my fitness up and everything else. In the midst of all of this, I get a DM on Twitter from Casey Neistat, and I was like, whoa, okay, a DM from Casey Neistat, like, for what? Like, why would he be DMing me? Come to find out, Casey had a creator event in New York that he had personally invited me to. He saw, some of the videos or whatever, and come to find out, he thought I was somebody else, but, everything happens for a reason. He actually thought, and I didn't figure this out until years after, that I was hella good, which is he runs and all this stuff. I remember, getting the invitation, man. Texting my wife, like, yo, I got this, this invitation to New York. My kids is all thrilled and I'm hyped. All of my homies is hyped. And I go there and it was just so intimidating. Like, I walked into this room of all of these esteemed creators. I'm watching Peter McKinnon, Matty Apuya, like all of these guys that I watch on YouTube. And I'm just like, I got 3,000 subscribers. I don't belong here. Like, I know I don't deserve to be here. But I'm saying that because I brought up connections in the beginning. You can get so far in life and on YouTube, not by how good you are, but who you know. Right? I have built so many meaningful relationships in the YouTube space. And a lot of them, and I'm going to get back to the story in a second, but a lot of them are in positions that I want to be in, right? Connections are equally as important as talent and skill. A lot of the places I've been in, I probably wasn't even qualified to be in there, but because I have a great relationship with this person and they thought that, I would have been a good fit there, and I was able to get recommended over probably 20 other people who probably had the credentials and I didn't, but I had the relationship, got me in a whole lot of doors that I probably wasn't supposed to be in. So anyways, back to the New York 368 Casey Neistat event. That to me was so eye-opening because it was the first time that I actually saw, from being in the camera space, fruit of my labor, right? I was making all these videos and finally somebody noticed, and all people, Casey Neistat, what? So that was really what set me off, man. It was that experience to New York being invited by Casey Neistat that really let me know that no matter how many doubts I have of myself or how good I'm not at this, that I'm doing something right, that somebody recognized something in me and they personally wanted to fly me out somewhere. And still worked jobs after that, and eventually got let go from this job and that job and quit that job, and ultimately leading up to the last job I had in the mortgage business, where they did layoffs at the last minute. They promised me, oh, your job is secure, you don't have to worry about it. And 2 weeks later, I got an email saying today is your last day. And all of my credentials have been taken and my log-offs, my log-ins were terminated. I was like, wow, where's the loyalty at? All the time I put in with these companies and they would just, chop me off like I'm nothing, right? So after that, I was like, man, I got all these bills. I got a family to take care of. Like, how am I going to make ends meet? So I picked up being an editor. Now, in this time, I was starting to make money from YouTube. And, I will make money from YouTube AdSense, which is not a lot, maybe like $1,000, $1,500 a month. I would get the random brand deal where this brand might pay me $3,000 for this review, or this brand might pay me $10,000 for this review, but it wasn't anything I could depend on, and it wasn't consistent, right? So when I took this job as an editor, I was like, well, this is great money. I get to edit videos and sit at home and all this other stuff, and come to find out that I hated editing. I hated editing. I don't mind editing for myself, but when I have to edit for somebody else, you have to deal with, that company's meticulousness, and you have to pretty much be ball and chain to them at all times. When the contract was over with, I decided that I was going to bet on myself. And instead of trying to get another contract or renegotiate the contract that I had, I was like, you know what? For the first time in my life, I'm going to see what I'm made of. So I went for it, not knowing how I was going to do it, not knowing if I was going to be able to do it, but knowing that if I could make $1 online or $10,000 from a stupid cell phone video, or 2 stupid cell phone videos that I could do it. So I bet on myself and I hit the ground running, and I just start, you know, like doing everything that it takes to get the job done. And here I am a year and a half later being full-time. I never thought that I would be able to make it this long being a full-time creator. And sometimes I feel like it's fleeting, you know? Like, I have months where I make crazy money off of YouTube, and I'm only saying this as like motivation for you, right? Now, I have friends that I brought up already who are millionaires from YouTube, huge cribs, like crazy cars, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not at that level. But what I do have is enough. I have abundance, and I'm able to live comfortably just from YouTube by itself, and take care of my children, and, you know, drive a nice truck, and have a nice place to live, and have a nice motorcycle, and money in the bank. Like, you know, it's taken so long to get to this point. But I also feel like I'm gonna lose it, like somebody's gonna come take it away from me. But the flip side of it is realizing that I worked for 6 years to get to this point. 6 years. And the reason I'm saying that is because, as I said earlier in the video, a lot of times when people see these successful people online, I'm not saying I'm successful, but you see the image, right? You assume that those people are successful. You think all it took them was a couple viral videos and nothing. Like, no, it took me 6 years to get to a point where I could finally make enough money from it to live off of it, right? And at the same time, I got friends who have doctorate degrees and all this stuff, and I make more money than them, and it doesn't feel fair. But at the same time, as I already said, Terry, it's okay, because you earned it. You put in over 6 years of hard work to get to this point. So the message that I'm trying to drive home to you is, if you want to be a creator, a full-time creator, or anything, like, you have to be willing to stay determined and be dedicated. Do you know how many times I wanted to freaking quit? How many times I looked in the mirror and said, "You not good enough"? How many times I still look in the mirror and say, "Terry, you not good enough," or "This is gonna be gone tomorrow," or "You're not as good as everybody say you are," X, Y, and Z. And I get some crazy experiences, and for some reason, and maybe it's just because I'm never happy with myself or happy with anything, and I always want better, I'm never satisfied. And I always feel like it's gonna be taken from me. But at the same time, God is faithful, man. All the times I turned away and I didn't, you know, I don't want to make this all hyper spiritual, but like, even in the times where I didn't believe in myself and I couldn't believe that I was getting these opportunities, like, I can only thank God at this point, because even when I turned away from him, he was still looking out for me. And that's just is what it is. Listen, anything is possible, y'all, but it's only possible if you're willing to put in the hard work, the dedication, the blood, sweat, and tears. If you're willing to look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, no matter what the circumstances are, I won't give up. That's the only way it works. That's the only way it works. Now, before I end this, I want to show you some quick BTS. All right, I hope y'all enjoyed that video. It's time for some behind the scenes real quick. So I'm using the Osmo Pocket 3 to record this. Freaking love this little camera. I had like 20 videos on my channel of this freaking camera, and I'm using D-Log M, and I'm color grading it with one of my 9 custom LUTs. So make sure you grab those from the description. Links for everything when it comes to gear will be down in the description. So let's flip this around. All right, so this is the whole rig right here. First of all, my backpack, the Timba DNA 15. There's so much freaking storage in there. The only problem is Timba doesn't make this backpack anymore. So that's that. As far as the camera rig goes, I got this on the ProMaster Chronicle tripod. This tripod is like 4 different tripods in one, and it's made out of carbon fiber. I will link the video for this up in the left-hand corner up there. And as a matter of fact, you'll see all of this stuff in the description if you want to purchase it. But that is my favorite tripod right there. Now, as far as the camera goes, I'm using the Sony ZV-E1, which I just can't get enough of this camera, man. You know, I just put up a video about this camera also. It's such a versatile camera, and for situations like these where you need a whole bunch of dynamic range, you just can't freaking beat this thing for the price. Obviously, I filmed everything at S-Log 3 because I wanted to color grade it, and we paired it with the 50mm f1.2 gangsta mode, which means we needed some ND filter action. Now, these are the Freewell K2s, okay? I love this system because it's all inclusive. So if I open this up, it's got all the different step-up rings you need inside of it. 67mm all the way up to 82mm, and it comes with a 2 to 5 and a 6 to 9 adjustable stop ND filter. Now, here's what's dope about this. If you unscrew these, you just take the whole system off, right? And the bottom of this matches up with every single step-up ring. So all you need to do is put the proper step-up ring on there based off the lens, and bam, put it right back on there, tighten it down. Okay, the filters are magnetic, so they just pop off, pop back on there, and there's a little door back here that you can slide in the vertical prism filters that come with it. So these are my ND filters of choice. Man, these things are so freaking goated. And then the mics, DJI Mic 2s, obviously. And then as far as my battery holder and memory card and storage stuff, I use the Tri-Charge from Peter Lindgren. And the reason I love these is because it's got freaking slots for all of my memory cards. Also, with a 50mm lens, if you want to get your whole body in the shot, kind of got to back up some, and it makes it difficult to see the screen on the camera when you got to sit so far away from the camera. So what I like to use is the Sony Creators app. You just pair it up wirelessly, and then you can preview the frame right on the phone, and you can start and stop recording from it, adjust all the settings and everything too. So a lot of y'all with Sony cameras or DJI cameras or whatever cameras you use, most of them have a wireless app that you can use for monitoring and all that stuff. I highly suggest you use it because it will make life a whole lot easier for you. And then this was the landscape right there. So I set myself right over there, and because this was a simple, you know, one location, one angle shot, it was real easy. But this is everything that I used. This is my behind the scenes. Some of y'all said y'all love this from the last video I did this on. So anyways, y'all, I hope this video was encouraging, inspiring, or something to somebody out there. I know I was just rambling, you know what I'm saying, but you know, I just wanted to get this off my heart and off my mind. And make sure you subscribe if you aren't for more videos like this and, you know, all of that good stuff. Till next time, I'm out of here. Tight shirt, Terry Warfield. Peace and chicken grease, y'all. Much love. Peace.